Oh, we want justice, not just for the guy that gave it to him, but the guy that sold it to him.
A teen battling for his life after fentanyl poisoning. The criminal investigation now underway. Also, a manhunt for a killer accused of murdering a 12-year-old boy ends at the border. And a toddler recovering from being shot. We're breaking down all these Houston crime stories and more right here. I'm Abigail Dye. We're starting off with a story that you're only going to see right here on Crime Files. It's about a big problem, fentanyl. We've told you about how dangerous this is before, and now a 17-year-old high schooler is fighting to stay alive in the hospital after taking a pill that he didn't know was laced. It launched a criminal investigation, and some very serious charges could come of it. Now, this is 17-year-old Christopher Flores. He took a pill that he didn't know was laced with fentanyl the week before last, and he's been in the hospital ever since. He's a LaPorte High School student, and this is video of dozens of students who came to Texas Children's Hospital to pray for Christopher. I spoke with his cousin about what happened and what justice they're looking for.
Got a text at 1:30 in the morning that my little cousin was found unresponsive at an acquaintance's house, and that we needed to start praying right then and there, and we all did. That was Tuesday morning at 1, I believe, and we've been here ever since. That was almost 11 days ago.
And was Christopher transported to the hospital immediately that day that he overdosed?
Right, he went to the first hospital, and then they transferred him here because he's 17 to Texas Children's.
And how did that make you feel, getting that news?
It's a punch in the gut. You never expect to get those kinds of texts, and then when you do, it's like everything just freezes. It's slow motion. And every day, my aunt, my cousin have been here day in, day out, alternating sleeping schedules, so he's never alone. So it's a roller coaster, that's what it is.
And now, how is Christopher doing? What's his physical state?
He is on life support. It's hard to explain every day. You hear one thing from the doctor, and then you hear another thing, and then you come, and then you see the third floor full of kids. I think at one point there was about 60 students from LaPorte High here, staff as well, sending food for the kids. They even had a whole assembly for him because he was just that kid. He was outgoing, he was fun-loving, he was a ball of energy, and just to see him there laying no life because of fentanyl, that's how fast it dimmed your light.
Why is your family speaking out? What do you want other people to know about this?
The message that we're trying to portray is that you think it's a cheap little thrill. Oh, we're just gonna do this. That has a heavy price. It's not just that moment. Look at us 11 days later, and we're still here. And we want kids to know, especially the kids at his school and everywhere, really, because the majority of the people that it's affecting right now is kids. Mm-hmm. That it's not just a cheap little thrill. This carries a heavy price. From my understanding, he thought he was taking one thing, and it was something else. And just like that, our whole life is paused. Mm-hmm. And we don't know the outcome. We pray that God works a miracle. Every day we're praying, every day we're here. My aunt's a God-fearing woman, as is my cousin, and we all are. We're praying for a miracle. We're praying he gets up. But we also are aware of what the other side of that coin is.
I know that there has been a criminal investigation launched in this. What does your family want to see come out of that?
Oh, we want justice, not just for the guy that gave it to him, but the guy that sold it to him. Because it's not just one guy. It's a ring. Trust me, it's a lot deeper than just what people think. That's as much as I can say right now.
And there is a pretty recent law put in place here in Texas where people can be charged with murder if they sell fentanyl.
That's what we're praying for. We're also praying for justice because he's not going to just be another case. This is the case. They're going to remember Christopher Flores. Always keep your family in mind and God in mind before you do any choices, because it's not just you that it's affected, it's everyone else.
If you could say anything to Christopher now and have him hear it, what would you tell him?
I would say, wake up so we can go and we can hang out and get snow cones like when you were little. We could go fishing, and we love you so much. That's what I'm telling you.
What do you want to say to anyone watching this, anyone who views this?
I just want to say to all the kids and all the kids that have come to support Christopher from LaPorte High, thank you guys. We see you guys. We see y'all praying. We see the chains up there, kids holding hands, kids crying on their knees, teachers. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for everything you're doing also behind the scenes. We see you guys and we appreciate everything. And to all the other kids, I just want to say, think about your decisions. I know it gets tired. You get tired of hearing that as a teenager. Okay, I get it. I'll be fine. But it's real. Things are not like they were back when. You know, now everything's cut up and redone and tied up like in a pretty bow, and it's really something else. So that's what I say. Just be very careful, even with people you call friends.
Now, LaPorte police tell me that they're investigating this as a criminal matter. A recent law passed here in Texas, House Bill 6, allows prosecutors to classify fentanyl death as poisoning, allowing them to file homicide-related charges in cases like this one, including murder.
Because of the fact that the overdose was potentially related to the consumption of fentanyl, at least a fentanyl-laced drug, it's treated as a homicide case. And so at this point, there's no definitive suspects. However, investigators are interviewing a series of individuals. In addition to that, different types of forensic techniques are employed, such as looking at phones, computers, laptops, and other types of technology-related devices.
Moving on here to another huge story in Houston. Bond is set at $2 million for the man charged with capital murder in the killing of 12-year-old Carlos Fernandez. Now, we told you all about this tragic story last week on Crime Files, and there was an all-out manhunt for this guy. Terry Rivera was in court this week after he was finally caught in Brownsville after crossing back into the U.S. from Mexico. So he went to Mexico and then came back. Authorities say last week he shot into the window of his ex-girlfriend's apartment, killing her son, Carlos, who was trying to protect his two younger sisters. Now, a big question has been if Rivera will face the death penalty, but officials say he's not eligible.
If you look at the Code of Criminal Procedure, I believe it's section 37.001, it specifically accepts capital murders filed under 1903 A9, which is killing a child between 10 and 15, from being eligible for the death penalty. The legislature decided to do that whenever they added the 10 to 15 age range. That's a question for the legislature as to why they did that.
Now, Rivera's mom is also behind bars. She's accused of helping her son escape, and she is sitting on an immigration hold. Now, moving along to another big story, the shooter who killed a North Shore High School football player over the weekend outside a house party in Humble is still on the run. Sherman DeSalle spoke to loved ones, friends, and teammates of this teen who was taken too soon.
Hundreds of balloons go in the air for Jarvon Coles, an exceptional student athlete killed in Humble. Affectionately known as VZ, the standout football player shined on the field and in the classroom. The first-team all-district linebacker had plans to attend Lamar University in the fall, but that changed March 9th.
He knew everybody. He was sweet to everybody. Like, he was everybody's friends. Everybody knew him, so it's the fact that he definitely has affected the school majorly.
Sheriff's investigators tell us late that night, Jarvon was shot outside of a house party on Fieldwick Lane. Officers believe someone shot towards the house from a couple blocks away, shooting Cole 4 times, then getting away.
I'm hearing drive-by shooting, but I don't feel like in the drive-by shooting, one person get hit 4 times out of so many people at a party. It just don't sit right.
His father says his oldest son, with a 4.1 GPA, was a child that everyone loved. His teammates told Fox 26 he inspired them to be better athletes.
I ran into him. He was helping me squat some weight that I didn't think I could do. And inspiring words that he gave to me, he was like, man, it's light work, man. You got it, man. You can do it. And he helped me do it. And I kind of taught myself, like, yeah, that's possible. I can do it. So that's why I say he has such a big heart.
Javon has planted a seed in everyone. You wouldn't be here if you didn't love Javon.
Despite the pain, the community covers the family in prayer as they wait for answers on who's responsible for Jarvon's death.
If anybody know anything, just come forward. This is my firstborn. This hurts a lot. Like, I just want justice for my son.
The sheriff's office has yet to ID a suspect or say that any arrests have been made. But everyone here in the North Shore is preparing for his funeral this Saturday, and they've been told to dress in formal attire in North Shore High School colors. Reporting from North Shore High School, Sherman DeSalle, Fox 26 News.
Moving along to another story here, a toddler recovering after being shot. It's a miracle that he's alive, but a tragedy that he's going to have to live with this trauma for the rest of his life. Dominique Keith has that story.
I'm glad God kept him, and the angel was over him, and he came back to us.
It's 2-year-old Braylon's first full day at home since being shot on Friday here on Gillette Street outside his great-grandmother's home.
The angel was over him.
5 days later, she's still trying to do what no grandmom should have to, clean a toddler's blood from her porch because he was shot.
Never had nothing like this.
According to Houston police detectives, more than 40 bullets from 2 different guns were fired, hitting the family's home over and over and over again, shattering their car window, ripping through the vehicle's trunk, and it all happened while little Braylon was outside playing with his dinosaur. His great-grandma was sitting on the porch with 2 of Braylon's cousins. Dozens of shots, one after another. It seemed like it was never going to stop.
Never going to stop. But we laid there. I laid on top of my aunt and my baby cousin till it was over.
Because you wanted to protect them.
I wanted to protect them.
But Braylon, who wasn't on the porch, was shot twice, once through his abdomen and his arm.
So I picked him up, put him in my lap, and start praying over him, asking the Lord to keep him, don't let him go.
I thank the Lord every day that he made it. I knew he was going to be strong. He dinosaur strong. So I knew he was going to be okay.
Well, that's it for this week's Fox 26 Crime Files. I'm Abigail Dye. I'll see you next week.